Hi guys, I have another coloring and card tutorial for you today, and today I am coloring Circus Charlie by Little Blue Button Stamps, and she's really darling, and she's the new release that is released today of all days, and I really like her. She's adorable. I have chosen to go with my at the moment favorite skin color. For two reasons is this my favorite skin color. One being that she gets a little bit paler, which kind of fits with it becoming colder outside and not as much sun exposure, but also because I really like layering my polychromos over this color combination. But in this time I'm not using polychromos, and I'm actually coloring on the Make It Crafty blending cardstock, which is awesome when you're playing with hair. It gives you so much more detail. It is a little bit harder to blend, but it gives so much detail, so it's worth the little extra work of blending actually. I really think so. I'm going in here making some changes to her face because her bangs didn't really give that shadow that I wanted. For her hair, I'm using my E40s, which is also one of these go-to colors I have at the moment. I really enjoy them. They are also, they're a little bit more grey, they're not super bright. And I really like using them because you can get anything with them. You can go from having a light blonde, grayish platinum blonde, to a very deep brown, which I'm actually using here. I'm doing a deep brown, and I picked out the E47, E44, E43 and E42 to go with her hair, so 4 colors, but I'm actually going to go in with the E49 the second time around to add a little bit more shadows back behind her neck, sort of in the back of her hair, and at the side of her face, just to get a little bit more depth in those curls and in the whole hair. This is a fun hair to color because you can color it in so many different ways. I wanted to look like it was just full of curls, that she had kind of flattened her bangs and then she just had full on big curls, because I thought it would look lovely. So that is kind of the hair I'm going for. I'm doing a lot of flicking, which is basically carefully like lifting your nib when you make your lines, so it is a little bit thicker where you put your pen down, and it ends up being very thin where you kind of flick up, and this gives very beautiful strands for your hair. And I find that I actually like the Make It Crafted paper more when I do hair, because it actually does those lines a little bit thinner. So if you have problems with your flicking, that you flick and flick and flick, but it seems like your lines are seeping a little bit so they don't get that really straight detail, trying to find a paper that is a little bit more compact, then it will probably be easier to do that. And we have her dress, which also is one of those things that I actually did some extra things on this time. I've chosen a pink combination. I use actually a darker pink than I usually do in this combination. I added an extra dark pink to get a little bit more depth in those little teeny tiny wrinkles, creases, something like that. And I'm using the RV series, but between the RV25 and the RV23 they're actually a pretty steep jump. And actually first I go in with the 21, and this doesn't blend at all, so I'm going in with the 23 to try to blend it out, and it doesn't really help. So I end up doing the tip to tip technique between the 25 and the 23, and then blending that out with the 21, and that actually worked pretty good. I don't need to do the tip to tip technique on her shoes, because smaller details seem to blend easily, or you won't see the lines the same way. So then you don't have to blend that much. And I'm using way too many pens when I do. I love using a lot of pens that you don't have to blend as much, but also you can have a bigger range of colors. You don't really need to have a bigger range of colors. It's just me having fun with a lot of pens. So you could get away just having 3 pens, but I really like the effect I get from using more. And then we have Mr. Doggy, and he is done in the E40s, but in the light E40s. So he does have the E44, E43 and E42 as the hair has. But it also have the E41 and E40 to make the color. And I started to going from E40 to E43, but I didn't get the depth I wanted, so I'm going over a second time now with the E44 to kind of get that extra depth. So he seems a little bit more round and cuddly, sort of. And that is the image. I thought I would show you here how I cut out that circle with my little knife. It's very much sped up, but when I do use my knife, I move my knife, but also if it's just straight things, I try to have the paper so that I can cut the easiest. Then we have, here's the papers. These are My Girls paper by My Mind's Eye, which I really, really love. And I really wanted to use that star background because it kind of got me reminding of Circus. And then I found the Friends Forever little note thingy. I thought that would work perfect for a sentiment. So you don't really have to sort of stamp a sentiment. You can actually use, if you have little of those in your pattern paper, you can use those. So I'm going to use an A2 size card, and I already made the card base because I do a couple of card bases at the same time when I cut my card bases. And then I'm cutting down the paper to 4 by 5 1/4, and the mat is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then I'm cutting down this little strip. It's getting to be 1 inch, kind of to get her somewhere to stand. I'm talking about this a lot, but I'm trying to ground her because she was really floating on those star paper because there is not really a horizontal line. So if I wouldn't have put this little thingy underneath her feet, she would be flying. And I wanted her to be a bit grounded. Then I'm cutting down the image. You can actually do this with scissors if you want to, if that is easier. But I kind of know where the blade is in my cutter, and therefore I like how straight I get this little sentiment by using my little Fiskars trimmer. I'm also going to layer all of the different pieces, and I have the same amount of layer on all of the pieces, so that all of the pieces are 1/8 of an inch bigger than the other, which creates a 1/16 of an inch border, because that is my favorite kind of measurements. And then I'm just using my little tape runner, and I tape everything together. Here you can see also it's not 1/8 of an inch around the whole piece that you have at the bottom. That piece will only go on the pattern paper, so it already is delimit by the layer on the back. So I thought then I can just do a little strip that doesn't have a start and a finish. Then I'm putting up my little critters to try to figure out where I want everything. I'm going to use foam tape on all of them, on the characters, but also on that little sentiment, because I wanted to have a little bit more depth, which the shadow gives. It kind of makes it stand out a little bit more from that background. Then I'm just adding the same foam tape all around behind both her and the little doggy. And I place them so that you can see the Friends Forever little note, and still have almost the same scene as the stamp gives you. To finish it off, I'm adding my little kind of panel on top of my card base, and that is the card for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please thumbs it up, it means a lot to me. If you have any questions, just comment down below and I will answer them as soon as I can. And here are 2 other videos for you from Little Blue Button Stamps. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!